So today I wanted to talk about some of the programs and projects that we run at Hifadhi Africa organization, and I just wanted to shed light so members and our fan base and supporters will have an idea of projects that Hifadhi Africa run, and of course they know some because we share this information on our social media, on our website, on our YouTube, and but I just wanted to bring maybe some specific details and maybe also bring history of those initiatives and projects that we are running at the organization. We are an NGO in Kenya that focus on marginalized and underserved communities, especially pastoral communities, slum dwellers, refugee hosting communities, and the refugee community. So those are our focus target communities or target areas or potential beneficiaries. And we run 5 programs at the Hifadhi Africa organization. One of them is education and youth. Another one that I really wanted to talk about today is livelihood and community resiliency. And then also we have program on WASH, which is water, sanitation and hygiene. And I wanted to talk about WASH, and I wanted to talk about livelihood and resiliency, some of the programs that we run for the Africa organization. Now, a large population of Kenya, 1 million plus, are not employed, are in emergency assistance need, work in self-employment, in casual labor mostly, and they're just this category that need support, whether in terms of household support, in terms of food, nutritional, water, medical support, informational support, or at the level of economical empowerment, which is support towards securing a job opportunity, support towards skills development, support towards school fees and other responsibilities, so that now when you shoulder those burdens, then you have given them room, space to focus on themselves and build themselves and recover from the situation that they were in. And those are the engagements that we've done as an organization in the last 8 years. I remember the first time we were doing in 2013 December, when we were doing interviews for our first cohort of scholars into our scholarship program. We were targeting those particular pupils who live with destitute parents, poor parents, illiterate parents, elderly parents, disabled parents, and we wanted to support those parents with the burden of school fees for the children who are now joining Form 1, so that we can relieve them of that responsibility, and we can motivate them to then focus on building themselves for the next 4 years, after which they will have the ability to sponsor their child through university. That was our focus. And so livelihood aspect of our initiatives are projects that look at immediate support towards these groups. It could be against floods, droughts, conflicts, political destabilization, but also it could be building the resiliency of the community to withstand those challenges, which we're looking at then giving scholarships to children so that the community can have not only the skills when these children graduate, they will have the ability to drive solutions, but also to enable the parents to have accumulated wealth and be able then to endeavor themselves in other areas of economical empowerment. And so we've done a lot in that area. We've constructed masonry water harvesting systems. We have a 250,000 tank, 225,000 liters, self-harvesting system in a place called Naudo. And I mean, Naudo was this place where people will come from far, Nasorot, Aguijatis, and other areas, and they are sick, and they were going to Nginyang Chemolingot for medical assistance, because those will be the areas that they are dispensaries. They were not dispensaries anywhere between Nasorot, for example, until Nginyang. And you have a sick child, and you are walking almost 84 or so kilometers, and in between, one, there's no hospital, number two, there's no water source. So we've lost, the community lost so many people, not because of the disease, malaria or whatever ailing them, but because of dehydration. So people will come from Nasurut, for example, to Naudo, and their life will end there because the child dehydrated, because they couldn't get water and because they couldn't proceed. I mean, so when we came there, we had statistics of number of people and community story, community members telling us incidences of community members that had been lost in this particular one spot because of lack of water. Minus now, of course, how people have moved from the place. I mean, the place was abandoned, literally. Nobody used to live there. And we did that water project. We spent almost 3 million in that particular project. We did that project, and then it immediately development sprang up. There was chief office that was established. There was a local school, initially elementary school, ECD, but then primary school. They are doing well now. Government posted teachers there. I mean, development sprang up. We did, the system has a point where livestock was, were taking water troughs where cows and goats will take water, and a point where human beings, children, women, and people will fetch water, and a point where there were even a point where community can sell water to water trucks. So water trucks will basically come there and fetch water and pay the community to do that. So it was a great initiative. And we also introduced farming, where water harvested are used to irrigate community land and produce food and seeds for the next season. So that was a very amazing project that we did there. We've done sandams. We've mentioned sandams several times in our conversations. And we've done now in multiples of 3 or 4 40-acre farms, community farms, and we've given seeds worth 700,000, I think 3 or 4 whatever times, to these communities. We've given goats. We've restocked their goats when drought hit. We have done water tracking. We have given 20 schools tanks and installed them with water gutters, and so that children in school, learners in school, has water, can access water, can have water. And so learning will continue, because before that, schools were closing because there was no water. I mean, for example, Nakoko Primary School, when we went there in 2015, They're not done KCPE, which is a national primary examination, for 45 years that they were in existence. And the reason is, in a given year, they will close probably multiple times, either because of, majorly it was because of water. People won't come to school because they have gone to look for water with their families and for their livestock and stuff like that. And when we put water in Nagogo Primary School, and we donated tanks and we donated a tank and we donated books and we sponsored children there. Education, performances, development, community started living around. I mean, it was just some of the great initiatives that when you do them, and especially when you're part of the process and you see these communities, you see life coming back. It's almost spiritual. It's almost, I don't know, it's emotional. So we've done that. We've done that in several schools. I think we've now done them in 20 schools. And we continue to do that. And one of the things that we have trained our staff is that imagine if the Africa as that child that had been given the responsibility to take a shot, for example, they should take a shot to a child in Marsabit or in Baringo or whichever corner of Kenya. And although that particular child do not have or is wearing a tattered shirt or do not have even a shirt himself or herself, but they've been given the responsibility to deliver this shirt. And we see ourselves as that kid that do not have the resources, do not have the means to, but we've been given a responsibility to reach out to communities. And in most circumstances, in most of the hard situations, for example, we go to places where there are conflicts, communities are fighting, and we're there and we are caught up in the process. But we still have to do our job. We go to places where we are running out of water, there's no water in this particular community, or we're drinking water from local sources, water points, and we get diarrhea and cholera and these other things. We go to places and we do not have a means to travel, so we're using motorbikes and we get chest pneumonia and other, we are exposed to cold, but we still have to do our job. We go to places and we get malaria outbreak because there are no places that we're going to stay. We normally, basically, literally sleep in bushes and by the rivers, and it's likely that we bought ourselves a tent. So we have a small tent that we will then, shelter ourselves. But before that, we were experiencing mosquito bites. We were experiencing snake bites. But we still had to do our job. So one of the things that I tell my staff is, look at yourself as that kid. Do not bother about the kind of shirt you're wearing. Do your work. Do your calling. Along the way, as you're going to Marsabit, or you're going to Baringo, or you're going to Makueni, or you're going to Kisumu, Omabe, you're going to deliver that shirt to that needy kid. Along the way, God will open a door for you, and God will bestow upon you your own shirt. Meaning that we are going to do our work to see transformation of lives and experiences in these communities, and in the process, we are trusting God to build our careers within it. Because we're young people, we have families, we are dependents, we have responsibilities, some of us are still studying, and all this. And some of us are renting people's houses in Nairobi and we are expected to pay rent, and there are just all these personal needs that whenever you sit down with an employee, they will tell you, Collins, I want to grow in this area. And I tell them, do not focus on that. Focus on the work. God is going to focus on the job. And my responsibility specifically is to focus on the community, but also to focus on their growth. And I'm grateful that over time, our staff have endeavored in their own way. I mean, John Tumaini is now in Netherlands doing his masters. Naomi is in Belgium doing his masters, doing her masters, sorry. Juvenal is in Uganda. People have gone. So many of us, members have gone to NTV, members have gone to US Embassy, members have gone to International Red Cross and other organizations. So the team that we started with and the culture that we built around the organization and focusing on community engagement, community participation, community livelihood support, community resiliency, community capacity building, advocacy. You know, it's an amazing journey. It's amazing what we've been able to achieve, and in the process, being able to build this organization as it is now. Another area that we've also done well is support. One of the programs that I'm very passionate about is our education initiative, our education program, youth empowerment and education. And our cohort of sponsored pupils and students, we've had so close bond, relation, that I know them by their names, I know them by their backgrounds, I know them by their grades, I know them by their schools, I know them by their ages, I know them, and they've become part of us. And it's just amazing how that does to me. And when I look at them, and when I follow them and see them progress from one stage to another, coming from the village to USIU, and seeing them transform over the years, and you meet them and you're engaging with them. It's spiritual. I don't know. It's an amazing journey. And beside everything else, that's what you would want to be doing more with more of these children. And I'm a testimony of their ability to excel in life, to be successful like any other child in this corner of the globe. And I'm also a testimony to their ability to express themselves, to be competitive, to appreciate life, to even care much and go back to their community and volunteer in one way or another. Those, we've seen them in our eyes. We've also had some students that we are not sponsoring get rejected from different organizations when they want to graduate from their universities because they come from the periphery. They're looking for internships. They've been given a letter by their university. They cannot graduate from their university unless they get that internship. It's one of the conditions in Kenya. But they can't get internship because they can't be admitted to any of the organizations because they don't know anybody. And they come here and they will tell us that, and we'll have them do their internship for 3 months. And we'll pay them sometimes when we have the resources. Whenever we don't have the resources, we'll have them for free, probably facilities for transport and something like that. We'll even host them. In some cases, we had a situation where a girl who was coming from living far, coming from another town, did not have the money to be coming to office and going back to where she was living. And so we attached her to one of our female staff, and they will stay together, eat together, come to work together, and she was mentored by her. And these are the things that we're doing in this organization through these programs. And we are on a daily basis engaging with lives, on a daily basis engaging with community that is in need, but community that continually project a face of strength, a face of, I can do it, I just need to be supported. I can do it. We were in one of these conference forum, community forum, And they were just telling us that we are like a small baby that is crawling and that is looking for tree branches or something to support themselves to stand. And these branches and these support systems are organizations like Hifadhi Africa. And whenever you support us, once we are able to stand on our feet, we will do the working. We will do the walking. And so I just wanted to bring that aspect of the programs that we are doing. And we will be having these talks on program based in our YouTube. Next week we'll probably talk about education or another program. I think we've done education so far. So we will talk about another program. Our producer will let us know what topic we will want to talk about and specifically what. But for today, we talked about WASH, which is water, hygiene and sanitation in school and the community. Also, we talked about community livelihood support, community resiliency, building the ability of the community to withstand pressures, climate change, and other man-made or artificial challenges that they're experiencing. And so we are running a program we are running a campaign on global giving in regard to this project, to finance some of these projects. And if you visit Global Giving, there you will see for the African the programs that we are running there. You can support our work. You can also support our work by subscribing to our YouTube. And so, yeah, I mean, this is a movement that we are opening up. We are inviting our followers and our staff and our support and everybody to just contribute to whatever you can. It may not be financial. It may be just liking our YouTube, liking our Facebook, following us on Twitter, liking our Twitter page and all that. If that's what you can do, then that's what we need from you. On our end, I constantly give my time to this organization. I work 19 hours a day, every day, doing proposals to seek partnership, doing community research on the areas that we're working on, doing programming for the organization, developing the programs. I mean, doing so many things, following up on our staff on what they're doing, getting to know what our other obligations to the government and to various stakeholders, and bothering myself with what is the future of the organization, what can we do better, where can we improve, which area do we need to bring, employ people, bring people on board so that we have the right skills for the work. You know, that's what I call on a daily basis, even on a Sunday. Today is Sunday and I'm in the office working. So that's what I do. So whatever you can do on your part, you may not be in my position to do the things that I'm doing, but you can just be there and liking our YouTube. You can just be there and watching these videos and commenting there and, you know, cheering us as we do this work. So you can also share your experiences if you know of a beneficiary that Hifadhi Africa has touched, and you have a story to tell. You can bring forth, you know, you can share those stories. It encourages us to continue doing what we are doing. So I just wanted to appreciate and say welcome to the community, Hifadhi Africa community. Go to our Global Giving, go to our YouTube. Thank you so much.